Chamatkar Sandhu reporting for MMAJunkie.com and USA Today, standing alongside the American gangster Chael Sonnen, who just checked into the presidential suite, I'm sure, in this fine hotel. Chael, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you're here in San Jose. It's WrestleMania weekend. Why are you here?
I'm here to enjoy the show, man. I'm a fan. I come out when I can. I'm from Oregon, and this was a realistic trip. Brock gave us some tickets, and we came out to support him.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a report, I don't know if it was substantiated or true, that you and Vanderlei had signed with the WWE, or what? Can you just clear up what that was? There was some gossip or something going on with you and the WWE being connected there somehow.
I don't have much contact with Vanderlei. That guy drives me bonkers, and I think that's mutual. But I had heard the rumor that he was offered a contract. I don't know that he signed it at all. I'm just here to visit and see what comes of it. But I can tell you I have not signed anything, if that helps.
So you're not swerving us? You're not going to run down the ring and interfere in the main event?
No. If I run down into the ring and interfere in the main event, they will be taking me away in handcuffs, and it won't be part of the show. I can assure you that.
Okay. Well, there's so much to talk about. Let's get right into it. Earlier on this week, Brock Lesnar re-signed with the WWE in a brand new multi-year contract. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
Well, you know, I thought that one was pretty obvious. I thought that he played that as well as anybody could. To make believe like he was going to come back to fighting, I think was a stretch. But, I mean, there's still your conspiracy theorists out there that think he hasn't re-signed with the WWE. And at one point in time, that would be fun to speculate it. They are now a publicly traded company. He absolutely signed, and if you're a shareholder, you can go check those facts. So I will mention this, if you want to speculate and have a little fun. Just because he signed with them doesn't mean he can't still go to the UFC.
Oh, really?
And Dana White and Vince McMahon have worked hand in hand before. That's actually how Vince got Brock this most recent time. Is Dana released him to him, right. And you know, Dana can get done about anything he wants, and he's a very clever guy. I think in this case, what we see is what we get. I think that Brock's time in the octagon is done. But, man, Brock's a presence, and he's a fun guy. And if he wants to come back and do both, he certainly could. I
thought it was very telling in the ESPN interview that Brock revealed at the 11th hour, Lorenzo Fertitta made a last-ditch attempt to try and sign him and basically said, here's a checkbook, you know, give me the number.
Right.
I thought that's quite telling in terms of how hard the UFC tried to sign him on this occasion.
Yeah, I think that's right. And you know, for the plans that they have for him, I could see where that would make some sense. He, you know, he's done as high as $5.5 million in a night before. That was for UFC 100. And I saw that report too. How little it was, I don't know. But I think the quote was that Lorenzo doubled the offer. And to double the offer for Brock, he does good pay-per-view numbers. But again, fair speculation. I would think that would be for something in Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, man, they gave it a shot. But I'll tell you this, even as right now it looks like the door's closed, and I think it is. I'm purely saying this to speculate, but that's fun. Speculation's fun. He could still go do both, and it would make sense. If you gave him the right opponent and you had a fair level of confidence that he was going to succeed, it would make sense for Vince to send him over there and have him do that. I don't know that Vince thinks that way, but it's fun. There's enough possibility that it's fun to talk about.
Okay. Well, sticking on the theme of a UFC, WWE crossover, your good friend CM Punk signed with the UFC. He's going to be making his debut, I think, towards the end of this year. He recently walked out to the octagon with the Anthony Pettis team. And you've obviously made that walk plenty of times yourself. What do you think you took away from that experience?
You know, I think he probably just had a lot of fun. He was supposed to walk me to the ring one time. I was going to fight in Chicago, which is his hometown. So this was going to be a lot of fun. And Dana White was on board, and Vince stepped in and said no. So it ended up not happening. But the UFC is a very unique atmosphere, and it's fun to be there whether you're a fan or whether you can participate in some capacity. So I think that he probably had a really good time. And as far as his debut comes, man, there's a lot of moving parts. He hasn't even picked a weight class yet. As of right now, it sounds like he's going to go to 170. Initially, he planned to go to 185, but Duke Roufus has been working him so hard, he keeps losing weight, and all of a sudden he's a welterweight. So I like that. Again, it comes back to the term speculation, but speculation, that's what we do as fans, man. That's what keeps this fun, is you keep guessing. So Punk keeps us guessing. In this case, I don't think it's by design. I think he's just straight up saying, man, I keep losing weight and I'm picking away. So we'll see what happens there, but that'll be a fun fight when that comes about too.
Well, obviously the UFC brought him in to try and kind of replicate what Brock Lesnar did in his first run, is bring that WWE fan base crossover appeal and buy into the pay-per-view market with the UFC. Do you think he'll have that same impact as Brock Lesnar did in the first time?
He won't have the same as Brock Lesnar had. Brock is a one-of-a-kind talent, a one-of-a-kind presence, but Punk will do very well. He's a proven pay-per-view draw. This isn't a matter of we have to guess what he's going to do. He's a proven draw, and then the only thing you have to know about business is supply and demand. Everything else you learn you can throw out. And as far as the supply of CM Punk, it has been very limited lately, so there will be a demand for him. And it's going to draw and do well. But there is some moving parts. Who are you going to put him with? Who's his opponent's going to be? Is it a pay-per-view? It's highly unlikely to be a main event. To stick a guy 0-0 into a 5-round atmosphere, I don't think would be suggested, let alone signed off by a commission. So that puts him in a co-main spot. So now his opponent isn't quite as important as if he was carrying a card. There's just a lot of moving parts. It's fun to discuss, and we'll see where it all ends up. But I talk to him regularly, and he's having fun. I said, are you sore and tired? And he said, I'm exhausted. He said, but I actually enjoy being sore and exhausted. He said, so I'm right where I want to be.
Excellent. Well, all right. Well, the biggest thing happening right now in the world of MMA, in the world of the UFC, this Aldo McGregor press tour that's literally global. It's in my hometown of London tomorrow, and it's just taking the whole MMA fan base by storm. Have you been digesting what's been happening this past week or so?
Yeah, man, I'm a huge fan. I follow all that stuff daily. I think Conor McGregor is the best entertainer that we've got out there right now. I think Rampage Jackson is also a fantastic entertainer, but he's so damn bitter and stubborn right now, it's hard to get him to kind of come out of that shell and do anything. Conor McGregor has really stolen it. I can't help but wonder what could have been. Right. And what could have been if he had a good dance partner, and he doesn't. He's got a guy that can fight as well as anyone to ever step in that octagon. And the guy's presence in the press tour, I'd have saved the plane ticket and just left him at home.
Do you think McGregor is getting under Aldo's skin?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely under his skin. But I'll tell you this, there is a big misunderstanding. You'll hear guys talk about this guy's in his head, or this guy's under his skin, or he's going to make him fight with emotion. That's all crap. None of that's real. You can be under a guy's skin, you can be in his head, you can make him fight with emotion. It has nothing to do with the result on Saturday night. It's just, again, it's a talking point for media guys. I'm over at ESPN, we do it all the time. He's under his, I'll make a whole 30-minute segment out of it, but he's under his skin, he did this and that. How's Aldo going to respond? It ain't going to make a bit of difference. At some point, that ref's going to say, Aldo's going to put these up, and one of them is going to land more shots than the other.
There's been a lot of comparison between this build-up between Aldo and McGregor to your rival with Anderson Silva. Have you seen some of these comparisons being made in the media?
Yeah, I've seen them, and I ended up in the same spot. Now, Anderson and I set all the records, and we've still got them. And this fight is on track to break them. They already broke our gate record. We had a $6.6 million gate, and I think they just reached $7 million. So they are on track to surpass the things that have been done. But again, it's a one-man show. If I could have got Anderson to meet me part way, the things that we could have done would have been a lot more exciting. And yeah, if I'm the UFC, I run Aldo out there 2-3 times. I put him in the fancy suit and I say, just go home, kid. If you don't want to be here, then I don't want you here. And I think they get more press out of that. I know over at ESPN, we would cover the fact that Jose Aldo was left out of a press conference more than we'll cover the fact that he's there sitting there with a stupid smile and not a word to say.
Well, let's talk about you using that ESPN analyst hat. The fight goes down on July 11th at UFC 189 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Break down the fight for us and give me a prediction.
Well, again, I'm a build-up and anticipation guy. That's why I've seen enough cage fights. I don't need to see guys fight. But I like the excitement. I like to know who's fighting, why I'm tuning in, and what's on the line. I can't say enough good things about Conor for the region that he came from. In Ireland, they don't have a lot of sports. They don't have an NFL. You're never going to watch an Olympic Games, summer or winter, and see an Irish guy compete. And they don't have an NBA. They don't have hockey. They have Conor McGregor. And for that region, he's doing a terrific job. to put him in there with one of the greats that has ever done it, it takes a tremendous leap of faith. Aldo is a superior fighter to him and to everybody else out there. He just is. He's just that good. And but I think Conor's going to have a lot of fun, and I think he's got a place in this sport, and I think he's going to have a lot more big fights after this one. And I don't think this loss is going to hurt him a bit.
Well, let's end on this, and I appreciate the time. Talk about speculation. Let's talk about your career. You're at the moment serving a suspension. How long is left? I can't remember. How long is left on that suspension?
They gave me 2 years, and I can't remember when that clock started. It was in summertime, around June, July, August, somewhere in there. It was a bit of a moot point because I had already retired, so I'm not exactly counting down the days. I've moved on, and I'm just a fan, man. I'm just a fan of the sport now. That's where I was, and I did everything right. I just did them in the right orders. I took all the right things. I just had to retire before I did it. So that's a little bit of a spin on the. It was a scumbag move by me. I pulled a scumbag move, and I'm embarrassed about it. And so I'm trying to rewrite history, but. At any rate, man, I'm still a big fan, and I follow it closely.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Chael, I really appreciate the time. Beautiful, sunny, San Jose, California. Enjoy WrestleMania. My name is Chamat Karsandu, reporting for MMAJunkie.com and USA Today.